welcome to this episode of Experts on Purpose. The expert we have today on our show is Allyson Scammell. Allyson is a master intuitive business coach, a psychic medium, and an energy healer. Her mission is to help soul guided leaders, influencers, and entrepreneurs get sold out with soul clients by amplifying their spiritual gifts, activating their big soul mission, and releasing their energy blocks, tethering them down. Welcome to the show, Allyson.
Hey, Allyson. Welcome to Experts on Purpose.
Hi, Jyotsna. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Thank you so much for coming in. So I have been following your work. You do so many amazing things. As an energy healer, Allyson, were you always into this or did it happen along the way? How did it all get started?
Well, I think I have a unique story than most. I think a lot of energy healer, intuitive types are kind of born with the gifts. And I might have been born with them, but I didn't know about them. And I didn't have access to them.
Okay.
No. And I had a near-death experience in 2009 where I physically left my body and came back. And when I came back, I was sort of really blown open is how I describe it, to my intuition and into communicating with non-physical energy. And that really put me on a new path to put me on a whole new path in life. Right. It led me to a complete career change in my late 30s. And it led me to coaching. And it was from coaching people that my energy healing gifts were birthed. I didn't even know. I would have never called myself an energy healer even like 3 years ago. But in the last 3 years, it really became clear in my sessions that it's like, oh, I can do this. And this is profound. Right. And that kind of set me on the path of being an intuitive business coach and an energy healer.
Right. So when you actually started coaching people after you had that, near-death experience, what were you coaching them initially on and how did that message evolve for you?
Well, so it's such a good question because I think initially it was a lot of fear. Like I was really afraid to call myself intuitive anything. I was afraid to definitely tell people about that I even had a near-death experience. I was afraid to talk about spiritual gifts. So I was very safe. It was like career change. And because I had a 17-year career that had made me unhappy, and I did a midlife career change, a pretty big one, like really from one career to an entirely different one. I felt called to help people with that. You didn't like your 9 to 5, come to me and I'll help you figure out what you want to do and transition you towards it. But I didn't talk about the intuitive stuff. I didn't talk about the energy stuff because I was afraid to. I thought people would think it's weird. It's be too woo-woo for folks. So I just played it very safe and I did okay, but my coaching business didn't really take off because I wasn't tapping into the best parts of myself.
Right. So when was that aha moment for you? Sometime 3 years ago is when you identified yourself as an energy healer, right? So what happened which made you own this space?
I think when I first started coaching, I wasn't making any money and I was really struggling to get clients and I was working my patootie off. I was putting the hours in. I was investing in coaching. I was investing in different things and I just wasn't getting the results that I knew I could. I just was like, something is off here. And with a lot of trial and error and making a pretty long story short, I realized that this fear of talking about spirit guides and talking about channeling and tapping into your intuition and energy healing and past lifetime trauma, because I wasn't talking about that stuff, I was not talking about my greatest gifts. And so I was just showing up as sort of a mediocre coach because I was talking about the stuff that felt safe to talk about.
Right.
And when I started to confront those fears and just talk about the things that I was really good at
Yeah.
and just talk about it, have a conversation about past lifetime trauma,
Mm-hmm.
that's when clients started coming to me. And that's all of a sudden I'm fully booked. All of a sudden I have a wait list. All of a sudden I start raising my prices more and more and more and more. And I still have a waiting list. So I raise my prices even more. And then all of a sudden I have extra money to hire help. And then all of a sudden my business starts really taking off. And I really believe it's because I overcame those fears that people might not like my message or understand it. And I did it anyway. And when I did it, because I was showing up in my gifts, authentically me, my people were finding me. And my people were really, really excited to hire me.
Awesome. I really love how you spoke about identifying your true message and really being authentic about it and overcoming that fear of what will people think and just being yourself, right? So, Allyson, you have a lot of these gifts which you are now using for your clients, but I'm sure it did not show up overnight. You must have done a lot of inner work, to develop that expertise. So what are some of the things you did? What did you learn? What kind of things you did on yourself to become who you are?
Yeah, so such a good question. I think the first thing coming to me is, I don't know if you've ever heard of Martha Beck. She's a big personal growth guru. She was called Oprah Winfrey's life coach. Anyway, I had got my initial coaching certification from her. And one of her big principles as a coach or any sort of person in the service-based industry is you got to live it to give it. So whatever you're teaching, whatever principles you're helping your clients with, you got to do it for yourself first. And I think that's hard for a lot of people who are in service to others. We're givers, right?
Yeah.
Those who are feel like they're in service to their clients and the planet, we're givers. So we just want to give it all to our clients and we can figure ourselves out later. And it's learning how to actually put yourself first and actually all the tools and all the transformation you want to give to your clients, really giving it to yourself first. And sometimes that actually takes time. Like, we have a finite amount of time. And when you're trying to grow a business, what do you want to do? You want to work. And you want to be doing marketing content and putting stuff out there all the time.
Yeah.
But it's training yourself to take part of that work day to actually do your own stuff, do your own work, whatever that means for you. If it's meditation or mindset work or energy healing, or taking some resources and time to actually work with an energy healer or a mindset coach or whatever it is you need to do that work for yourself first. And I think that's one of the most powerful things any coach or any healer or person in the service-based industry can do for themselves is to live it before they give it to others. Live it for themselves.
Right. That's such a powerful statement. Live it to give it, right?
Live it to give it. And it's one thing that she taught me that I've always taken with me. So that's like the first thing. The second thing that I would offer to the listeners is that a lot of your gifts, now, are the listeners here a lot of coaches, like coaches, writers, artists, healers?
Exactly.
Yeah. So the other thing that really happens is a lot of your methodology or your gifts or what it is that makes you uniquely and specially you comes and it's birthed from your interactions with your clients, who I call soul clients, right?
Yeah.
So I go beyond the ideal client avatar and I go to the soul client avatar. It's like those are those people that you were just born to serve. And when you start showing up authentically as yourself and really talking about your gifts, even if it feels a little scary, that's enabling your soul clients to find you. And when your soul clients connect with you and start working with you, that's really in that creative, it's a co-creative process where you're showing up together and they're actually extracting your gifts from you. So it's a process of noticing when you're, for example, in a client session, what is lighting you up the most and what is creating the biggest results in the lives of your clients. And that's showing you to your gifts. And not only does it show it to your gifts, it actually shows you to your own methodology. Like,
Yeah.
I think we're all born with a methodology. And what I mean by that is that's your plan. Like, that's your 5-step program, right? That's
Yeah.
that thing that you can sell in a class or you can sell in a book, write in a book. You're an author, right?
That's
So
right.
I'm sure you've worked with a lot of people to help them develop their methodology. And I think we all have it. And just allowing those methodologies to be born in the co-creative process of your interactions with your clients and noticing what's coming through and trusting it, trusting its power, I think is a magical process.
Amazing, Allyson. You put it so well. So what I can understand is for us to really work on our expertise, first of all, we need to live it and truly like walk the talk and not just stop there, but also get yourself certified, work with the best in the industry to really gain that confidence. And also, a lot of times people wait till they really become the number one expert before launching whatever they have. But what you're suggesting is the messaging is never going to be clear unless you work with your soul clients. They will help you co-create it. So you need not be perfect before you launch. Just go ahead, start working with a few people with what you already know, and that will help you improve the methodology and everything else, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we're stuck with this limiting, like kind of old school belief that you have to be a coach for 10 years and put in 10,000 hours before you can birth a methodology,
Yeah.
or, that is not true. When you're tapped into energetics, when you're working with a soul client and you're showing up at your best and they're showing up at their best,
Yeah.
methodologies can be birthed like in a session. I'm working with a client now, and because this is what I do with people, I'm helping her to get in. She's just launching a coaching business, and she did not go through a certification program. And she has already attracted her first client, and we just started working together, who she really feels like is a soul client. And in one session, she started to identify her methodology, her gifts, those things that are uniquely hers to share. Literally in one session.
Amazing.
And I was like, and she was like, I was just so lit up. And was this just a coincidence? She asked me. I'm like, no, it was not a coincidence.
This
It's
is how
your
it
gifts
works.
coming through.
Yeah.
It's coming through literally in one session of coaching. Now, it doesn't happen that fast for everybody. It didn't happen that fast for me, I'll tell you that much. But I think I was trapped in the thinking that I have to coach for a gazillion hours using other people's tools.
Yeah.
Like in my case, using Martha Beck's tools. When I started as a coach, I used everybody else's tools but my own because I thought that's what you did, right?
Yeah.
But then when I started to allow it to happen organically in sessions in the co-creative process, that's when I realized, guess what? I'm actually an energy healer. Who could ever have thought that? I never realized. I had no idea I had healing abilities. The coaching and the intuitive stuff, yeah, I kind of all got that. But the healing stuff, I'd have never guessed that. But I allowed it to come through organically.
Yeah. Without working with your clients, you wouldn't have discovered that.
Absolutely not. There's no guru out there. There's no class I could have taken, no certification that maybe some super intuitive coach could have said, hey, Allyson, you have healing gifts. That could have happened, but it didn't for me. But I don't think anything would have been as powerful as just the act of working with clients, calling in the right clients, and then noticing and trusting what you're seeing in sessions.
Fantastic. So you have constantly used the word soul clients, Allyson, and most people call them my ideal clients or whatever. So how different are these soul clients, and how does one identify or differentiate between a typical client and a soul client?
Great question. That's one of my shticks is I help people become soul client magnets. So what is a soul client? I define a soul client as someone that you actually agreed to serve before you came into this lifetime. So this is going on the principle that we live multiple lifetimes, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't align to that, no worries. I just invite in an openness to we connect with people energetically. We can and do connect to people energetically before we connect to them in physical form. That's really what that really means. And a soul client is someone that on a soul level, I agreed to serve you and you agreed to serve me back before we even came into our to this
Physical.
physical lifetime. And the other thing that makes a soul client is their pain points and desires are a perfect puzzle piece fit to your unique genius and your gifts. So when you're showing up at your highest and greatest self, you are the best person on earth to help them with a specific pain point and to help them achieve a specific desire. That's why you agreed to serve each other. And you're serving them by helping them alleviate their pains and get their desires. And they're helping you back by paying you money, helping you birth your methodology, helping you understand your gifts, helping you grow your business. So it's a match made in heaven, really. And they are different than ideal clients because I feel like they are ideal clients, but they're like super ideal, right? They're like just super ideal. They're supercharged.
Got it.
And I help people. I think the most powerful way to attract them into your business is to indeed connect to them energetically first. Before you write your marketing content, before you create a program, connect with them energetically first. And I do have a simple, quick, and easy 5-step process that I teach people to do that. Would you like me to share it?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, and if you're thinking, oh, I'm not intuitive enough to do this, or I'm not sure I buy all this stuff, I get it. I'm with you. But I promise you these 5 steps are accessible to anyone, and you will receive something from it, some bit of information about your soul client that you didn't have before, you'll receive from going through these steps. So, like with any process for getting clear, right? The first thing you have to do is quiet the thinking mind, the overactive thinking mind that's going to say, this is silly, or you have to speak to 10,000 different people before you know who your soul client is. It can't be this easy, right? All those thoughts, we want to quiet those thoughts because they're going to cut us off from the energy of our soul client. So I just offer the quieting of the mind, step 1, with deep belly breaths. Long inhales, long exhales. And in fact, would you like to go through the process with me?
Yes.
Let's do it. I love doing this on podcast episodes with the host, and we always like make some real magic. So, Jyotsna, I'm going to help you connect to your soul client avatar. Now, you probably have more than one because you do different offerings, right?
Yeah, so I'll probably think of the signature offering that I want to promote.
Yes, do that. That can help. If you've been at this for a while and you might have more than one, or you have different offerings, it's good to kind of think about a program that you want to launch and then who is the soul client avatar for that program. But if you're new to business, just call in the soul client avatar. That's all you got to do. Okay?
Sure.
So you have a new program you want to launch.
Yeah? It's been launched, but I want to launch it in a better way. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So I invite you to think of, we're going to call up the soul client avatar for this program. So step 1, go ahead and take some long, deep belly breaths, long inhales, long exhales. And this is the quieting the thinking mind process. I always say you want to go out of your mind when you do this. So just long, deep belly breaths. Now, step 2 is we're going to pivot your awareness down and place it on your heart space. Just place it on your heart chakra. And the heart chakra connects you to non-physical energy. And it elevates your own energy body so you can receive messages from the divine more easily. So we're just connected into your heart energy, just placing your awareness on your heart space. And then step 3 is to decide which energy you want to connect into. So for us right now, we're going to intend to connect to the energy of the soul client avatar of the program that you'll be relaunching. You don't have to have any detail about him or her. Just set the intention to connect to that energy. And if you feel like your mind is getting involved, saying, this can't happen, this is silly, or anything else, just turn that thought into a cloud and watch it float away. go back to your heart space, and go back to the energetic connection of your soul client avatar. Step 4 is to ask questions. And if you're new to the process, I would start with simple yes/no questions. And if you've been at this for a while, you can move to multiple choice or open-ended. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask your soul client avatar some questions. And then, Jyotsna, I invite you to tell me, and this is step 5, what you perceive to receive to be coming back as an answer. And if you're not sure, go with your best guess. So I invite you to tell me what you perceive to receive. So, soul client avatar, I have a question for you. What is your name? Or do you have a name?
For my soul client?
Yeah. For this program. So just tell me what you perceive to receive be coming from your heart space or your gut, from your, like the lower parts of your body.
Andrea, maybe?
Andrea. Okay. Yeah. When you're not sure, just go what you perceive to receive. Go with your best guess. All right, Andrea, can you tell us what your biggest pain point is right now that Jyotsna is uniquely designed to help you alleviate? What is your biggest pain point that Jyotsna is uniquely designed to help you alleviate?
Andrea is not able to proudly talk about her programs because she, unlike her other people in her industry, doesn't have a book. So she feels a step below the others, and that's her biggest pain point.
Nice. And Andrea, how does it feel to be a step below the others? What emotions does that make you feel?
Less confident, less qualified, less deserving.
Nice. Thank you so much. And what do you desire? What is your main desire that Jyotsna can help you achieve?
Attract soul clients who believe, who don't need to be convinced that I'm good, but they just know it because they've read my book.
Yes. I love this so much. I love this so much. And last question, Andrea, what do you need from Jyotsna? What do you need from her?
I need the confidence and a system that will help me launch a best-selling book in the next few months without taking away too much of my time.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. And last question, anything else you want to share, Andrea?
I just feel that this has been on my bucket list, and I feel really bad about procrastinating this one book project forever. So if I can get some help in getting this done, I'll feel good about myself.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Procrastinating. Feel good about myself. Oh my gosh, this is so good. I'm like tingling. This is so good. Okay. Thank you, Andrea. We're sending gratitude to you, you lovely, lovely soul client avatar. So Jyotsna, I'm speaking to you now. How did that feel for you?
It felt very surreal. I mean, it was so profound because for the first time, I feel that I was truly stepping into the shoes of my soul client. And I did not use too much of my mind. It just flew from me or through me. Yeah.
Yes, I could feel that. I could feel that what was coming through was clean. It's normal that the mind wants to get involved and calculate what it thinks the answer should be.
Yeah.
And yeah, right? When that happens, it's okay. Just notice it. Deep breaths, back to the heart space, back to that connection. And I just felt it flowing through you. Do you want to know something absolutely amazing?
Yes.
I think I'm a soul client of yours.
Wow.
I mean, I so related to Andrea because I have a super successful business, but I don't have a book. And I do feel, what did she say? I feel like I'm a step below the others.
This is unbelievable. I'm
It's
sure,
unbelievable.
yeah, because you're so good at what you do, Allyson, that your ideal clients, I mean, the people who are working with you, your soul clients, the people who follow you may not really know this, but you know this inside of you, right?
Yes. Yes. So I'm totally a soul client. And here's another thing. This is where my intuition comes in. I got an intuitive hit for you.
Mm-hmm.
When I asked the question of Andrea, anything else you want to share? This, like, I think this is like lead marketing language. When she said, this is a bucket list for me, and I feel bad for procrastinating and I want to feel good about myself again. And I think that's lead marketing language. Like, when you're talking to, whatever, when you're crafting your marketing stuff, like, are you ready to check that bucket list off? Like that bucket list
Okay.
thing of launching your book. Are you tired of feeling bad because you're procrastinating? Like that kind of language.
Yeah,
I
got
think
it.
it's going to get her attention right now.
I felt this exercise not just helps me, come out and talk about my soul client, but also helps in the marketing copy for my ads and landing page and all of that.
Yes, this is the beauty of this process. It, like, literally, sometimes you can take what comes through, like certainly in this example, and use it word for word in your marketing copy. And this is what's going to get her attention.
Yeah.
This is going to be like that, those keywords: bucket list, procrastination, one step below the others, And she's like, yes, yes. She's going to get, you always want to get your prospective clients saying yes. Like,
That's me.
yes, that's me. Yes, I struggle with that. Yes, I want that. And this process gets to the heart of her yeses.
Right. Well, this has been really powerful. So could you also tell me, Allyson, that in one of your teachings, I saw about releasing some energy blocks that we have. Like, I have identified my soul client. I know they're going to benefit, but in spite of that, I don't do my best in selling out my offer. So what could be some energy blocks and how to remove them?
Okay. So if you don't mind sharing, you said you wanted the launch to go better this one. Can you share some thoughts that you had about the last one that you were like, I wish that would have gone better?
I didn't launch it. I just uploaded the offer on my website and that's it. I didn't make any noise about it as if it was the biggest secret. I didn't speak about it. So that's why I felt that this time around, I need to not just be quiet about it, but just do my best in launching it well.
Nice. So going back to that, in that time, I didn't make any noise about it. Do you know any ideas why? Why didn't you make the noise?
Because for the first, the package offer that I have comprises of different elements. I had offered those elements like angel writing, cover design, all of that as separate offerings before. But this was the first time I was bundling it up together because I knew that would help my client. However, I wasn't sure if this is going to work. So I thought, let me just sell a few of these offerings first before making that noise about it. And thankfully, we have had a few soul clients who've bought this. So now I feel a little more confident that if it has worked for them, if they have said yes and they have signed up, a lot more people should do it. So now I'm in a better space to, just go ahead and launch it.
Beautiful. So I think this is a great example of there's some lightness here and a little bit of shadow. I think the lightness is you were doing smart business sense, that you were beta testing something small, getting the feedback, is this going to work well? And then realizing that, yeah, this is going to work pretty well. Now I'm going to launch it bigger and make a little bit of noise. But I think there was a little bit of shadow too, which is a very common shadow. It's a common block we all have, is it might not work.
Yeah.
Did that ever feel kind of heavy and or a little bit scary?
Felt horrible.
Yeah, right. It felt horrible. Yeah, it might not work. And I think that's a wound that we have as entrepreneurs, because we're always, testing things.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I also feel that I was having one kind of client all this while who would finish their book, who loved writing and who came to us with a manuscript. Those were the clients I was serving for the last 5 years. But now I want to serve these purpose-driven entrepreneurs who are already doing well but don't have the time to write. So this new offering was for a different type of a client. So that also probably led to those shadows areas where I wasn't sure, because this is the kind of client I haven't worked with much, but I knew this new offering is for them.
Perfect. I love it. So I want you, so this is how it works. And I think that in some mindset work, we're kind of taught to go to the positive thought, which can be helpful and not always helpful. I think what makes energy work more powerful is we go to the thoughts that were painful, and that directs us to our energy blocks so we can release them. Sometimes when we just go to the positive thought, we're just like glossing over the block that is there. And then the positive thought's not going to do anything because we actually have this negative block inside of us that's telling us a different story.
Working on the negative blocks is a lot more useful, right?
Yes. And it's a lot more powerful. And it's the thing that leads to lasting change. So you actually land on positive thoughts naturally, right? You're not forcing it. Like the positive thoughts feel very true. And that's what you want to get to, right? So going back to it might not work. Go back to the time where you just kind of, and this is the thing about energy work, you want to lean into the dark times. You don't stay there very long. So that's good. You want to go back to like that moment in time. Maybe it was right before you launched or right during launch when you really felt unsure. This might not work. And in fact, it's looking like it really couldn't work. So once you identify the thought, in this case, it might not work, and you lean into that time where it felt really true, the next step is to identify the emotions. So what emotions were triggered when this thought felt very true? It might not work.
I felt very insecure. And I haven't felt that for a while, because in the last 5 years, when it comes to my team, it was filled with these freelance people who would just work on a project basis. So it was a no-brainer for me to just sign up clients first and then pay these people later. But when I launched this new program, I wanted more committed people in my team. So I changed my team structure, and I have some full-time committed employees, and that was really scary. So if this program doesn't work, I have to let them go and I have to go back to square one, and that was really scary.
Yeah. So there's a lot here. Yeah. And might have felt a little pressure.
Yeah, that's the right word.
Yeah, pressure, right. Okay. So now you go to the next step. Once you've identified feelings, now this is important. There'll be a listener out there who's going to have a hard time identifying feelings because it's hard. And we weren't ever really taught about emotions growing up. We were basically told most of us were told not to feel emotions, and that the good kids were the kids that were just always happy. And if you felt any air quotes negative emotions, you were just like bad. So we're kind of convinced that we shouldn't feel emotions. Well, emotions and feeling emotions is the primary part of releasing energy blocks. So it's the process of learning how to identify our emotions and feel them. So in your case, we identified insecure, scary, and pressure. So once you identified the emotions, not more thoughts. So a lot of my clients will go on and identify more thoughts. So I didn't know what would happen. I didn't know if I'd have enough money to make payroll. Like those are all thoughts. So we want to get to what emotions are the thoughts triggering. And if you're really struggling with this, like literally it helps you to Google list of emotions and you'll get I know Byron Katie's got something on her website where you get a list of 75 different emotions, and have that in front of you so you can help to identify.
Sure.
And you don't need more than 2 or 3. So we have 3, that's perfect. So then the next step is and this is your homework, Jyotsna, for after our recording, is to spend about 90 seconds feeling the feels. And so what that means is we've identified 3, and these are emotions that entrepreneurs feel all the time. Insecure, fear, pressure. Again, I think the common wound of the entrepreneurs, right? So you want to give yourself permission. We can only ever feel emotions in 60 to 90 second waves when we really give ourselves permission to feel. And it's that feeling of the emotion that helps you release the block, because these emotions are tied to an energy block inside of us that is putting up all sorts of roadblocks in our way that we can see and roadblocks we can't see. So you just sit in that and you just give yourself permission to feel the emotions for about 90 seconds. Notice the physical sensations. Notice how it affects your breathing. Try not to judge it as good as bad. Try to be curious. What does it feel like when I really give myself permission to feel? And then once you feel the emotional waves starting coming down, you take about 3 deep breaths, and you let it go. And that's really you releasing the block.
Fantastic.
Then you go back to your heart space and you're like, okay, with that block released, now let me look at my launch with fresh eyes. I got my soul client avatar. I got this. I am going to nail this, and I'm going to get this new program into the hands of the people who need it most, like Allyson.
Amazing. No, what I realize is everything may be perfect out there. The sales page may look great. Social media images may be great. My team will be well equipped. But if I don't have these blocks removed, it's not going to help me serve people at the highest level. And also a big learning for me, Allyson, is I always thought I must not spend time in those feelings, but I was actually feeling them all the time. But consciously, I thought I must just avoid it. But you're like intentionally inviting those feelings for just 60 to 90 seconds could actually help me to remove that. So thank you for this powerful lesson. So this is going to be one episode that I'm going to keep going back and listening to, because this was not just like an interview. This was like a one-on-one coaching workshop. So thank you so much for this, Allyson. Amazing.
You're so welcome. And you're so right. You're like nailing the lessons right and left. That's so true. And I love doing this. I find this to be the most powerful thing to do in a podcast interview, and that the listeners really, really receive so much from it, like seeing it in action. But you're so right about we were taught as children that, good kids feel good emotions. Like that was kind of the subtext. And we're also taught, I think anybody who studies law of attraction, like attracts like. So if you feel good, you attract more good things.
Yeah.
That is true when you don't have any blocks. You got to release your blocks
first
to get that. Yeah, you got to do that first. Then you get to the good feelings, and that attracts more good feelings. So it's exactly how you described it. It's just carving out a few minutes, going into the emotions for 90 seconds, so you can release it. And then once you release it, you actually naturally go to at least a state of calm, if not a state of lightness, freedom, something even better than a calm, joy, connection, right?
Yeah.
So it's on the other side of a release is normally you get some sort of good feelings, and then you can tap into your law of attraction work to manifest more situations that bring together those good feelings.
Superb stuff, Allyson. So where can our listeners find out more about you? I'm sure they've enjoyed this session and would like to know more about how can they learn from you, work with you, etc. So where should they follow you?
Well, you can catch me on my website, AllysonScammell.com. And I have a super cool free gift going at the moment. And it's my free energy upgrade meditation, where I actually take you through a lot of the stuff we just did together in the meditation. I've gotten such incredible feedback about that meditation. So check that out. Just get it free from my website. I'm also on Facebook. I have a closed Facebook group called the Soul Guide Circle. And we're a group of soul guided leaders, influencers, and entrepreneurs who are looking to earn more, serve more, and grow spiritually along the way. And lastly, my little labor of love is my podcast, Soul Guide Radio. I did rebrand it recently. So it had a different name when Jyotsna was a guest on my podcast, which you should check out. It's on my website. She gave a great interview about how to birth your soul guided book. And those are different ways that people can connect with me. And I would really invite anyone who's interested to come into my world.
Awesome, Allyson. We'll put all the links right below this episode, because I also just joined your Facebook group. I'm excited to be a part of it soon. So thank you so much, Allyson, for your time. This was such a pleasure to have you on the show.
It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.